First contact. The Helios deep space research vessel drifted silently through the Kuiper belt, its sensors probing the endless dark. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the strange object their scanners had detected 3 days ago. After 15 years of searching for extraterrestrial signals, they'd finally found something that defied explanation. Dr. Chen, Captain Rodriguez's voice came through the comm system. We're receiving new data from the object. Sarah straightened, her heart racing. I'll be right there. The bridge of the Helios was a symphony of holographic displays and quiet beeping. The object, a crystalline structure roughly the size of a small car, had begun emitting regular pulses of energy that their instruments could barely detect. It's not random, Sarah announced, studying the pattern. This is a message. Before anyone could respond, the ship's AI interrupted. Multiple objects detected entering the solar system. Configuration unknown. Size and energy signatures suggest advanced propulsion systems. The crew watched in stunned silence as massive ships emerged from what appeared to be tiers in space itself. Their designs were organic, almost alive, with surfaces that shifted and changed like liquid metal. This is the Consortium Diplomatic Fleet. A voice echoed through their communication system, speaking perfect English. We have detected the activation of prohibited technology in your system. Prepare for inspection. Captain Rodriguez stood from his chair, his weathered face set in determination. This is Captain Miguel Rodriguez of the Earth research vessel Helios. We are conducting peaceful scientific research in our own solar system. Identify yourselves. The response came immediately, but this time, the bridge filled with a holographic projection of a being unlike anything they'd ever seen. It appeared to be composed of crystalline structures and flowing energy, vaguely humanoid but clearly alien. I am Emissary Vaxlera of the Galactic Consortium. Your species has activated an artifact of the precursors. This violation cannot be permitted. Sarah stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear. The crystal structure we found. We haven't activated anything. We're simply studying it. The alien's form shimmered with what might have been amusement or concern. Your presence alone has triggered dormant protocols. Already, similar artifacts across your system are awakening. You do not understand the forces you're dealing with. As if to emphasize the point, Ari's voice cut through the tension. Dr. Chen, I'm detecting energy signatures similar to the crystal structure activating on Mars, Venus, and throughout the asteroid belt. They appear to be responding to each other. The emissary's form pulsed with urgent light. You see, it begins. We cannot allow this to continue. The precursor artifacts must be contained before. A sudden surge of energy from the crystal structure interrupted the conversation. The object began to glow with an intense blue light, and patterns of ancient script appeared on its surface. Sarah gasped as she realized she could read them. Somehow, impossibly, the symbols made sense to her. It's a key, she whispered. Not just a message. It's a key to unlock something within us. The emissary's form flared with alarm. Quarantine protocols must be initiated immediately. Your system is now under consortium protection. Do not resist. Captain Rodriguez stepped forward, his voice firm. This is sovereign human space. We do not recognize your authority here. You don't understand. The emissary's voice held a note of what might have been fear. Your species was never supposed to find these artifacts. The genetic markers were supposed to remain dormant for at least another millennium. The precursor's timeline has been accelerated. Sarah felt a strange tingling sensation throughout her body, and around her, she noticed other crew members experiencing the same thing. The crystal's glow had spread somehow, filling the ship with a soft blue light. What's happening to us? She asked, watching as tiny points of light began to dance across her skin. The emissary's next words would change human history forever. You are awakening. The precursor's children are finally coming home. Multiple alarms began blaring across the ship as more consortium vessels appeared. The crystal structure pulsed in response, and suddenly, Sarah understood its purpose with perfect clarity. This wasn't just first contact with an alien civilization. It was humanity's first step toward reclaiming their forgotten heritage. Captain Rodriguez turned to his crew, his eyes reflecting the strange light that now seemed to emanate from within them all. Send word to Earth. The universe is about to discover that humanity is far more than anyone expected, including ourselves. The Helios hung in space between two forces, the massive consortium fleet and the ancient power awakening within the solar system. As Earth's governments scrambled to respond to the situation, one thing became clear: humanity's place in the galaxy was about to change forever. And deep within the crystal structure, a message continued to pulse. The children of Earth have finally come home. The hidden truth. The news of alien contact and the consortium's arrival spread across Earth like wildfire. Within hours, the entire planet knew they weren't alone in the universe. But it was the second revelation that truly shook humanity to its core. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Council, her skin still shimmering with faint traces of blue light. Behind her, holographic displays showed similar crystalline structures being discovered across the solar system, each one awakening in sequence. The artifacts aren't weapons or tools, she explained, her voice steady despite the enormity of her discovery. They're keys, genetic keys designed to unlock dormant portions of human DNA. We're not just meeting aliens, we're remembering who we used to be. The council chamber erupted in murmurs and exclamations. Above them, live feeds showed the consortium fleet holding position just beyond lunar orbit, their ships a constant reminder of the tension building in Earth's solar system. The precursors, Sarah continued, weren't just another alien civilization. According to the data we've decoded, they were our ancestors. Humanity didn't evolve solely on Earth. We were seated here, hidden away, our true potential locked behind genetic barriers that were meant to protect us until we were ready. Admiral Hayes, the head of Earth's recently unified Space Force, leaned forward. Ready for what, Doctor? Before Sarah could answer, the chamber's AI announced an incoming transmission from the consortium fleet. Emissary Vaxilera's crystalline form materialized in the center of the room, its presence commanding immediate attention. Your species was meant to remain dormant, the emissary stated, its form pulsing with urgent light. The precursor's decision to hide you here was not arbitrary. You carry within you power that nearly destroyed the galaxy once before. Is that why you're here? Admiral Hayes challenged. To prevent us from reclaiming our heritage. We are here to prevent catastrophe, Vaxilera replied. The precursors were not gods. They were scientists who played with forces beyond their control. Their hubris led to the collapse of their civilization. You carry their final experiment within your genes. Sarah stepped forward, her eyes blazing with the same strange light that had been affecting humans across the solar system. You're afraid of us. Not of what we might do, but of what we're becoming. The emissary's form flickered. The precursors designed you to be their successors, but they failed to understand the consequences. Already, your species shows signs of the change. Increased cognitive ability, enhanced physical attributes, the awakening of abilities that defy our understanding of physics. Around the chamber, council members shifted uncomfortably, many of them experiencing these changes firsthand. Reports had been flooding in from around the globe. People developing unprecedented abilities, children solving complex mathematical equations instinctively, the elderly experiencing cellular regeneration. This is why the artifacts were scattered throughout your system, Vaxilera continued. Each one contains a piece of the complete genetic key. If all are activated, the transformation will be irreversible. Admiral Hayes stood, his authority evident in his bearing. And if we choose to embrace this transformation, this is our destiny, our birthright. Then you will face the combined might of the consortium, the emissary warned. We cannot allow the precursor's mistake to be repeated. Sarah felt a sudden connection to the artifact network, her enhanced consciousness linking with the ancient technology. In that moment, she understood something crucial. You're not telling us everything, she said to the emissary. The precursors didn't fail. They succeeded. That's what truly frightens you. The emissary's form destabilized for a moment, confirming Sarah's suspicion. You have 24 Earth hours to surrender the artifacts and submit to genetic suppression, it declared before vanishing. In the silence that followed, Sarah turned to the council. The artifacts are showing me more of our history. The precursors didn't destroy themselves. They evolved beyond physical form. What's happening to humanity isn't an experiment gone wrong. It's an inheritance being claimed. Admiral Hayes nodded grimly. Then we have 24 hours to prepare for war. No, Sarah corrected, a smile playing at her lips as more knowledge flowed into her consciousness. We have 24 hours to prove we're ready for the truth. The precursors left us more than just genetic potential. They left us a defense network that spans the entire solar system. We just need to wake it up. As if in response to her words, the crystalline artifacts pulsed in unison across the solar system, their light growing stronger, calling to the dormant potential within every human being. The next 24 hours would determine not just humanity's future, but their place in a galaxy that was about to remember why the precursors were both revered and feared. The awakening. The consortium's ultimatum ticked away like a countdown to war, but across Earth, humanity was changing. Children woke from dreams, speaking long-dead languages. Engineers found themselves instinctively understanding technologies that shouldn't exist. Doctors reported patients healing themselves through thought alone. Sarah Chen stood in the control center of Helios Base, now transformed into humanity's primary defense coordination facility. Holographic displays showed the consortium fleet, now numbering in the hundreds, forming a blockade around the solar system. They're trying to contain us, Admiral Hayes observed, studying the tactical display. But they're also afraid to get too close to the artifact network. Sarah nodded, her consciousness now permanently linked to the ancient precursor technology. Because they know what's coming. Look at this. She waved her hand, and a new hologram appeared. A complete map of the solar system, with lines of energy connecting each artifact. It's not just a defense network, it's a transformation engine. The precursors built it to guide our evolution when we were ready. And now we are, Hayes asked, watching as more ships joined the consortium blockade. Before Sarah could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. On the main screen, dozens of consortium ships broke formation, diving toward Earth's atmosphere. They're not waiting for the ultimatum, Hayes growled. All defense stations, prepare for. He stopped as Sarah raised her hand, her eyes glowing with blue fire. Across the planet, millions of humans felt a sudden connection, a shared consciousness linking them through the artifact network. Knowledge flooded their minds, not just information, but understanding. In orbit, the first consortium ships entered the atmosphere, weapons charging. But they never got to fire. Millions of human minds linked together, reaching out through the precursor network. Space itself seemed to ripple as humanity exercised powers they had only just discovered. The invading ships froze in mid-flight, caught in fields of energy that defied physics. Inside their vessels, the consortium forces watched in horror as their advanced technology simply stopped responding. We gave them a chance to understand. Sarah spoke, her voice echoing with the combined will of humanity. Now they'll have to listen. Across Earth, humans were discovering abilities that seemed like magic. Some could manipulate matter at the molecular level. Others could see through time itself, watching possible futures unfold. The genetic keys weren't just unlocking powers, they were awakening the full potential of the human mind. The emissary's form appeared in the control center, its crystalline structure flickering with urgency. Stop this. You don't understand the forces you're unleashing. No, emissary, Sarah replied, her consciousness now merged with the collective human awakening. We understand perfectly. The precursors weren't trying to create weapons or conquerors. They were preparing us for the next step in evolution. Through their shared consciousness, humanity could see the truth. The precursors hadn't vanished. They had transcended physical form, becoming beings of pure energy and thought. The artifacts weren't just tools. They were guideposts on humanity's path to the same transformation. Your civilization is built on control, Sarah continued, addressing not just the emissary but the entire consortium. You fear change, evolution, the unknown. The precursors chose humanity because we embrace these things. We don't just accept change, we chase it. As if to demonstrate, the artifact network pulsed with unprecedented power. Every human on Earth felt their consciousness expand, connecting not just with each other, but with the fabric of space-time itself. The consortium ships hung motionless in the sky, held in place by humanity's newfound mastery of fundamental forces. Admiral Hayes stepped forward, his own eyes now glowing with the same inner light. We're offering you a choice, emissary. Stay and learn with us, or leave. But you cannot stop what's happening here. The emissary's form wavered as it witnessed humanity's transformation. You would share this power, even after we tried to suppress it. That's what makes us different, Sarah smiled. We understand now why the precursors chose us. It's not just about power, it's about wisdom. The wisdom to know that evolution isn't something to be feared, it's something to be shared. Across the solar system, the artifacts began to pulse in a new pattern. The awakening was entering its final phase, and humanity stood ready to embrace their destiny, not as conquerors, but as guides for a galaxy that had forgotten how to evolve. The stand. The consortium's response came not in the form of weapons, but with a revelation that shook the foundations of the galaxy. As humanity's consciousness expanded through the artifact network, they began to perceive a deeper truth about their universe and the real reason for the precursor's disappearance. In the transformed control center of Helios Base, now a nexus of swirling energy and thought, Sarah Chen received the first images of what lay beyond the edge of known space. The consortium's Supreme Council had arrived, their massive worldship emerging from a tear in reality itself. Dr. Chen, Admiral Hayes called out, his voice carrying both authority and concern. We're receiving a transmission unlike anything we've seen before. The air shimmered, and instead of the familiar crystalline form of the emissary, a being of pure thought manifested. A consortium elder, one of the ancient races that had first formed their alliance millions of years ago. Children of the precursors. It spoke, its thoughts translating directly into understanding in their minds. You have awakened faster than any projected model. We must share with you what your ancestors could not. Through the collective consciousness of awakened humanity, they saw it, a vast darkness spreading between the galaxies, consuming not just matter and energy, but the fundamental laws of physics themselves. The void, as the consortium called it, was entropy given consciousness, and it hungered for all of existence. The precursors didn't just evolve beyond physical form, Sarah realized, the knowledge flowing through the artifact network. They became the guardians of reality itself. Yes, the elder confirmed. And now you understand why we feared your awakening. The last time the precursors created inheritors, they brought the void into our universe. Your ancestors sacrificed themselves to seal the breach, but they knew it would return. Admiral Hayes stepped forward, his consciousness now able to process multiple dimensions of reality simultaneously. The artifacts weren't just about evolution. They were preparing us for war. The elder's form pulsed with acknowledgement. The void feeds on order, on the rigid structures of space and time. The consortium built its civilization on control and stagnation. We made ourselves perfect prey. But you, we chaos, Sarah smiled, understanding at last. Humanity thrives on disorder, on constant change and adaptation. That's why the precursors chose us. We're naturally resistant to the void's influence. Through their expanded awareness, humanity could see the truth of it. Their very nature, unpredictable, adaptable, eternally changing, made them the perfect defenders against a force that consumed mathematical certainty and physical constants. The elder's presence expanded, sharing more urgent knowledge. The void has already breached the outer edges of consortium space. Our rigid technologies and ordered minds cannot fight it. We need your chaos, your creativity, your inherent ability to defy the very laws of physics. Then let us help, Sarah offered, humanity's collective consciousness reaching out in unity, not as servants or soldiers, but as partners. The precursors knew that the only way to fight entropy was with evolution itself. The artifact network pulsed with newfound purpose, and every human felt the weight of their inheritance. They were not just the children of Earth, or even the heirs of the precursors. They were the next guardians of existence itself. Across the solar system, humanity began to prepare. Their newfound abilities weren't just about power. They were tools for the greatest battle in the history of the universe. The Void thought it would find easy prey in ordered galactic civilizations, but instead, it would face the one species that had elevated chaos into an art form. Admiral Hayes turned to the Elder, his expression resolute. Tell your council to prepare their civilizations. Humanity will need to teach the galaxy how to embrace chaos, how to evolve and adapt. It's time for the entire universe to wake up. The Elder's form resonated with what might have been hope. And if we cannot change, if our civilizations cannot adapt quickly enough, Sarah's answer came with the certainty of one who could now see through time itself. Then we'll show you how humanity does the impossible. After all, that's what we do best. As if in response to her words, the artifact network began to reconfigure itself, preparing for its true purpose. The precursors hadn't hidden humanity away out of shame or fear. They had been cultivating their greatest creation, a species that could teach the universe how to dance on the edge of chaos and order, where true evolution lived. Emergence. The Void arrived sooner than anyone expected. At the edges of consortium space, reality itself began to unravel. Entire star systems winked out of existence as fundamental forces simply ceased to function. The ordered, predictable universe that the consortium had built their civilization upon was coming apart at the seams. But humanity was ready. In the transformed space around Earth, now a swirling nexus of energy and consciousness, Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the center of the greatest gathering in galactic history. Representatives from every consortium civilization had come to witness and learn from humanity's response to the crisis. The Void feeds on predictability, Sarah explained, her consciousness simultaneously addressing millions of beings across thousands of ships. It consumes mathematical certainty and spits out entropy. But humanity, we thrive on uncertainty. Through the artifact network, now fully awakened and understood, humanity demonstrated their unique gift. Where consortium ships moved in perfect formation, human vessels danced in beautiful chaos. Where alien minds sought logical solutions, human consciousness spun wild innovations out of impossible dreams. Admiral Hayes, his form now as much energy as matter, coordinated the first defense. We don't fight the Void with order, he declared. We fight it with creativity, with the unexpected, with the impossible made real through sheer human stubbornness. The first battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. As the Void approached, threatening to consume a consortium colony world, humanity responded not with conventional weapons, but with pure imagination given form. Millions of linked human minds created new laws of physics on the fly, weaving reality itself into patterns too chaotic for the Void to consume. This is what the precursors prepared us for, Sarah realized, watching as human consciousness reshaped space itself, not to maintain order, but to introduce just enough chaos to keep reality alive and evolving. The Void recoiled from the unpredictable patterns of human thought. Where it expected to find the rigid structures of consortium physics, it encountered the wild mathematics of human dreams. Every attempt to consume reality was met with spontaneous creation, as humanity demonstrated why they were chosen as the precursors' heirs. Through their expanded consciousness, humans taught their alien allies how to embrace uncertainty, how to think in ways that defied logical progression. The consortium learned that survival didn't lie in perfect order, but in the beautiful balance between chaos and structure. The precursors didn't disappear. Sarah shared the revelation with all assembled. They became what we're becoming, guardians of the possible, shepherds of evolution itself. They didn't hide us on Earth to protect us. They put us there to incubate our greatest strength, our unpredictability. As the void retreated from its first defeat, humanity and the consortium began to truly collaborate. Human chaos tempered alien order, creating new forms of civilization that could adapt and evolve. The artifact network, now understood as a tool for universal transformation, began to spread its influence beyond the solar system. "We're not just fighting for survival," Admiral Hayes addressed the combined fleets. "We're fighting for the right of the universe to remain in constant change, to never stagnate, to always surprise itself with what's possible." The void would return, everyone knew that, but the galaxy would be ready. Under humanity's guidance, civilizations began to embrace change rather than fear it. The rigid hierarchies of the consortium gave way to fluid, adaptive structures that could evolve as needed. Sarah stood at the heart of it all, watching as humanity fulfilled its destiny, not as conquerors or mere guardians, but as teachers. They taught the galaxy how to laugh in the face of impossibility, how to dance with chaos, how to find strength in uncertainty. The precursors knew what they were doing. She mused, sensing the approval of ancient consciousness embedded in the artifact network. They knew that the universe didn't need more order, it needed dreamers. And so humanity emerged onto the galactic stage, not with weapons of war, but with the greatest power of all. The ability #, the Awakening Protocol, a human first contact story.